everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's reading, we're going to be looking into some of the changes that are unfolding in your life at this moment. So we have 4 piles. Pile 1, commitment. Pile 2, resistance. Pile 3, abundance. And pile 4, upheaval. So take a second to see which pile is really drawing you in, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So you guys have picked the commitment card. And on the top, the 2 other oracle cards, they say the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love, and earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time and nature. So what I feel coming through for this collective, like the way I'm hearing it, is that you are in a process right now of returning home to yourself. You're returning home to a connection with your higher self, you could say, and you're returning to a space of love, returning to a space of self-love. You've maybe been in a period where you've been processing some intense energies, probably some anger. We see that here with the Mars energy, anger, conflict. So there's been some anger that's come up that you've had to process, that there's a feeling of like, this isn't fair. That's the main feeling I'm getting, is like, this wasn't fair, this wasn't just, and there's a lot of anger about that you've been processing. And you may have gone through something recently that triggered this, or it may have just been a resurfacing of certain energies, certain repressed emotions and anger. But either way, there's just a feeling of like processing this feeling of like, this wasn't fair, this wasn't just. And there's a lot of anger about that. And this is a timeless reading, so whenever you're watching this, it doesn't matter. But, you know, there's a lot going on in the collective right now, and there's been some big stuff astrologically going on as well. So maybe some things have been resurfacing with certain astrological energies, or you've been dealing with some of that. And also, I don't think it's completely just about what's going on in the collective, but that might just, there's a feeling of also just processing a lot of like Mars like energy, that like really fiery warrior kind of energy. But there's a strong feeling of justice behind it. Like, I'm just feeling this anger is coming from a sense of like justice and wanting justice, really. So I feel like you've been in that for a little bit, and this has been very important for you to process. And wherever you are in this timeline, of course, take this how it resonates, you know. But for most of you, I feel like with the 7 of Pentacles here, you're learning to recommit to yourself. You're returning home to yourself at this time, and you still might be in a phase of processing some of that stuff. Some of you might be giving yourself a hard time about this. Let this energy process how it needs to process, okay? It's in a stage of like growth right now. You're in a stage of there's a feeling of like, you're a lot, for most of you, I'll say, you've done a lot of the work processing whatever this anger is, whatever this energy I'm feeling here over on the side coming from this like Mars card. You've done a lot of the work to process that. You're moving into a new stage at this point with it. But there's still some to process. There's still some things to let go of. And there's still a need to return back to yourself in some areas and to commit more to yourself. Maybe you've placed a lot of commitments and things that you felt like were not truly serving you, that were not really for you. Maybe they were for other people. And there's also a feeling of like anger for not being appreciated for that. There's anger for yourself, even for like, why did I waste this time on other things? Why did I waste this time doing things for other people instead of my best interest when people don't really care, don't appreciate that in the first place? So there's a feeling of just, Spirit wants you to commit to yourself. Like, that is how I'm interpreting this commitment card here. You're returning to yourself and you are committing to yourself. There's a need to be more discerning about how you use this energy as well moving forward. You may have been kind of cycling a little bit, or maybe what you were doing before with processing this anger was important, and you're entering a new stage now, and it's important to make sure you expand what you're doing and move out of that a little so you can enter this new stage. There's a need to discern how to utilize this energy, this anger, how to channel it, how to actually channel it into the right areas of your life, so it's not just cycling within you and causing chaos and preventing you from moving forward, because I feel like it started to enter a stage where that's what was happening. So you're moving into a stage now, or you're being called to, really. Now that you've really gone through a lot of processing and feeling, now it's time to really focus this energy in and channel this energy in to where it's supposed to go. Because this energy, this anger, it's a strong sense of passion, a strong sense of justice, really. It's love. Truly, what's behind this anger is love at the end of the day. That's what I feel. So where you're moving into, you're learning how to channel this properly. You're learning how to ground this kind of energy here. And you're returning to yourself. You're committing to yourself. Spirit wants you to commit to yourself. Also, Spirit wants you to commit to this. Spirit wants you to commit to doing this work and to not letting this anger and whatever happened in the past, maybe I feel very strongly like it most likely was not fair and it was not just, whatever you are processing, whatever you're feeling. But Spirit wants you to commit to yourself and channel this energy and focus this energy into the right areas that really are aligned with your higher self. And Spirit wants you to commit to that. Like, you need to commit to that. You need to do the work and you need to be ready for it. Okay? Let's pull some oracle cards. Pull some more oracle cards and see what's going on. Also, you guys could really benefit from some time in nature too. I'm feeling like there's just a lot of spiraling in your head, and maybe just going outside a little bit could help. Okay, forgive. I'm really seeing this as self-forgiveness. Clear your mind. Yep. What was I just saying? What was I just saying? Lot going on in the head, right? And maybe there was a time period where that was important, part of this processing and part of this feeling. But there's a need to channel this into the right areas so it's not becoming so distracting and or it's not controlling you, and it's not stopping you from moving forward with your healing. You're entering a new stage of your healing right now, and you might be tempted to stay within what was safe before, or what you were doing before, like what you got comfortable with. But you're entering, if you want to move forward with this, if you want to learn to channel this energy into a way that it can be productive for yourself and also for other people, it can help other people as well. You're a passionate person and you have a strong sense of justice, I feel. There's a need to move out of what you were doing a little bit and change this a little bit and learn to channel it in the right way. And learn to channel this energy into this love and commitment for yourself and building your life in a way that's truly aligned with your higher self. There's a need to forgive yourself too. Some of this anger, some of this rumination some of that might be connected to not forgiving yourself. I do sense, I was talking about this a little before, but I was sensing a little bit of like, why did I put this much energy into this? I shouldn't have focused on this. Why did I trust this person? Things like that. You need to forgive yourself, okay? You need to forgive yourself. You need to commit to yourself right now, okay? It's not about those other people. And it's not about those other situations. And there's a good chance it wasn't fair and it wasn't just. But you are returning to yourself. You're focusing this energy into the right areas now. So forgive yourself, okay? Forgive yourself. And a way you can forgive yourself is by not allowing this rumination to occur, not allowing this to cycle in an unhealthy way, and really commit to channeling this energy where it should go, and to not getting stuck. Don't let yourself get stuck. Don't let yourself get stuck. Allow this to push you forward. Let's pull some more oracle cards, not oracle cards, tarot cards. What other messages do we have for this collective? What other messages do we have for this collective? Nine of Swords, okay, Two of Pentacles, and Three of Cups. Okay, so with the Nine of Swords, you're coming out of a period where you were definitely, there was a lot of conflict going on within your mind. A lot of conflict going on within your mind, a lot of overthinking, and some of this was even necessary. Like it was a part of what needed to be processed. Because whatever it was before that you went through, that you're upset about, that you're angry about, I really do strongly feel like it was not fair. It was not just, you did not deserve that. So there was a need to really process that and feel that. But you may have gotten a little stuck in it for a while. Or I've been kind of repeatedly saying, it got stuck in a cycle, and it was no longer properly being channeled into where it should be. And it's like that energy was being put too much into other people a little bit too, rather than within yourself. And so you're returning to a space of self-love right now. You're forgiving yourself, and you're returning to a space of self-love. You're finding a balance with this. You're balancing the things out right now. That's what you're doing. You're in a stage of like balancing things out. And also don't be so hard on yourself that you're still in that stage where you're still balancing things out. Like that's okay. That's okay. You'll get there. And also don't shut yourself off from other people. Don't shut yourself off from nature. Return to a space of love. Return to a space of love within yourself here. Okay, I want to pull a couple more oracle cards, and then we'll wrap this up for you guys. Actually, I'm feeling this deck. This one. This is the right one. Okay. What final messages do we have for this collective? I give myself permission to relax. Becoming my highest self requires planning time to rejuvenate. I am a wild pasture that grows and draws nutrients without toil. Yeah, give yourself a permission to relax and to forgive yourself. You're in a stage where you just need to heal. You need to rejuvenate yourself. You need to commit to yourself and focus on that healing. And it's okay that you're still in a state of balancing. It's okay, don't pressure yourself to heal faster than you are meant to. Okay, let's see. What other messages do we have for this collective? Okay. Oh, we got, I think, 4 here, so we'll go with it. Self-celebration. I am amazing. I rejoice in my successes, big and small. I am proud of the person I am becoming. I celebrate myself today. Yeah, I think you guys have been really hard on yourself for whatever that situation was. Yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that. It just feels like, something that wasn't fair, something that wasn't just, and you have a right to be angry about it. I feel like you're very critical of yourself. Very critical of yourself. But be proud of yourself. Be proud of what you've gone through and how you still handle yourself, how you still carry yourself after that. Be proud of your successes and be proud of the person you are becoming as you're healing, okay? Allow that space for yourself to be in a stage of balancing and a stage of healing and growth and rejuvenation, because you're becoming an even better version of yourself. You're realigning with yourself. You're returning home to yourself right now. So allow that to occur as it's meant to. I follow my spirit on its wanderlust, guided by intuition and character. I trust myself to journey freely. And we have Life's Song. My life is a song in harmony. I take time to care for myself, to work, and to connect with others. Together, the notes of my life are in beautiful harmony. So really, you guys, you really just need to love yourself. I know that's really cheesy. I know that's easier said than done. But you guys need to forgive yourself. You need to love yourself, and you need to commit to yourself right now. Channel this energy into yourself. Channel this energy into returning to a space of self-love. But that's really the message I have for you guys. I'm gonna end it there. Thank you so much for watching Pile 1, and if this reading resonated with you, be sure to like and subscribe. Hello Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys have selected the Resistance card. And on the top we have You're Not Alone, Isolation, Physical Connection, Community. And the other one says Loosen Your Grip, Coping Mechanisms, Density, Addiction, Let God In. So what I feel for this collective, you guys have felt a lot of resistance when it comes to your connections with other people and trying to form connections with other people. This could be friendships, romantic relationships, or family. You felt a lot of resistance with that in your life. You've struggled with that. And maybe this is something you've been really dealing with recently with certain connections. There's a feeling of like, I feel like you feel misunderstood, and you feel very frustrated about this. You just feel like, you know, no matter how much you try to communicate, no matter how much you really want these connections, you want genuine connections, I can tell. You just feel like there's so much resistance. You feel like this crow who's just flying against the wind, trying to make it happen, trying to make it work. And I do feel like I need to say this message for some of you here. So just take this however it resonates. There might be a connection or some connections in your life right now where you're over communicating, where you're over explaining yourself. You might be trying to force this connection to work or to be something it's not meant to be. There's a sense of just like encountering so much resistance, trying to make this work, trying to make this happen, and not really accepting where someone's at. So if some of you if you have someone in your life right now where you're having a lot of frustrations about communicating with them, you just feel like you're over explaining yourself all the time, you're not getting through, you might feel like you're talking to a wall. There might be a need for you guys to just accept where this person's at the moment. You don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with it. I'm not saying it's good or bad, this person very well might have some things that they need to work on here. But you can't change this person, okay? You can communicate, you can offer constructive criticism, you can do all of that, okay? But this person or people, you know, whatever, however this applies for you, people are at where they're at in the moment for this time, right? And I feel like you guys struggle to accept that a little bit. And it's like you add more resistance into your life because of that. So, okay, going back to that message, like if there is a person in your life where there's just, you're trying really hard to make it work. You're trying really hard to communicate, and you're just met with so much resistance. There might be a need to really accept where this person's at, and that might be a hard pill to swallow. There's a need to loosen your grip, okay? You might be trying to change this person, more than they're really open to changing at the moment. And again, whether that person's right or wrong, like, it's kind of irrelevant. That Spirit wants you to know whether that person's right or wrong. If they're not willing to change, the only thing you can do is accept where they are, and then make a decision from there. Because I feel like you might be adding certain resistance in your life, or adding certain stress into your life. You might be trying to change people a little bit. And I feel like this is coming from good intentions. I don't mean for this to sound harsh. I feel like it's coming from good intentions. I feel like you're really trying to communicate, like you're trying to make things work. But there's a need to accept when someone is not open to that, when they're not receptive to that. Because that's not your job to change them, okay? Let the universe do its work. Let God do its work, if you'd prefer to say that. Because that's not your job to change this person, okay? I have a feeling like if you've brought this up to their attention, you've tried to communicate. If you're at a point where you just feel like you're repeating yourself, you're talking to a wall, you're meeting so much resistance, where you're putting more effort into communicating and problem solving where this person is, it might be tough, and it might not be fair even, or might not feel fair, but there's a need to just accept this is where this person's at. I can't change them. Whether they're in the right or wrong is kind of irrelevant, because it's like you're adding more resistance in your life. You're stressing yourself out over people's behavior that you can't change, okay? So I feel like you're going through a big realization about this right now. I do feel like you might still be in a little bit of resistance to this, but I feel like you're really uncovering this at the moment, and it's been a tough pill to swallow for you, really. That's what I feel. So Spirit wants you to know, well, okay, for one, I feel like you guys really want connection. You really want connection. For one, you're not alone. Spirit is always there. I should say that. But also, you can't make those genuine connections by trying to force it to work where it's not meant to work, you know? If you just feel drained, if you feel like you're like fighting just to be heard with people, you know, you might be trying to force something a little bit. You might be trying to change people a little bit. So I feel like this is something you're realizing right now. I feel like you're realizing you can't change people. You can only communicate. You can only offer constructive criticism. But people are at where they're at, okay? They're at where they're at. And you need to loosen your grip on this a little bit. We have that here. You need to loosen your grip on other people a little bit. I don't think you're like controlling people in a malicious way. I just think it's like you might have a hard time accepting when people are not ready to change, where people just are where they are, okay? And that's not to say that they won't change in the future. But in the present moment, you guys really need to accept just where people are, okay? Because the only way to build this community, these genuine connections you want, you can only build that with people who are willing to communicate, who are receptive to it in the way that you want them to be. You can't force someone to be. And that sucks, you know? It's not just, like, again, I really want to say, I feel like, you know, if you're dealing with a person right now who you feel like you're talking to a wall, like, this person has their own issues to deal with right now, and it's really not your responsibility to solve them. You may have been trying to solve these person's issues, and it's adding more resistance to your life. It's adding more stress to your life. So you really need to protect your own peace at this time and choose the path of least resistance for yourself that allows you to keep that peace, okay? And again, this is really not to say whether this person is good or bad or whatever. This message for you guys right here is about accepting what is in the present moment. Let's pull some more oracle cards. And I hope this isn't coming across too harsh. This might be a little tougher message, because I think you guys have really good intentions. I really, really think you do. And when I say you need to loosen your grip on other people, I don't think you have malicious intentions with people. I just think you have a hard time accepting where people are at, you know? I think you have a hard time accepting that some people are not open to change, and that's not where they're at this time. And really all you can do is take that information and then decide what to do with it there, you know? That's up to you at that point. Know your worth. Okay. Know your worth, step into your power. Okay, yeah, it's like, I think, like, you might know that you're in the right in some of these situations, too, where you're trying to communicate with people. And this, I do feel like, for some of you, this might be a specific situation you're dealing with, and for some of you, or it could be both. And for others, this has just been an overall pattern in your life, too. I think you know your worth, okay? Know your worth and step into your power here, because it's like, if you don't want to deal with that energy, you don't have to deal with it, okay? But you can't change where that person's at. But if you don't want to deal with their issues, you don't want to deal with their problems that they're causing onto you, know your worth, okay? Set boundaries. Take that information and decide what to do with it. Like, you're in control here. You have the power. Okay, yeah. It's like you've given up that power to these other people because you've just been like, they're not listening. They're not, I'm explaining, I'm communicating, they're not listening. And you've given up your power in this situation because you've really needed to realize this person is, or these people, or in your past, they're not receptive. They're not willing to do the self-reflection and make the changes that you were hoping they would at this time. So your power here is then taking that information, stepping into your power, and knowing what to do moving forward, you know? That's your power in this situation. So don't let these people take up so much of your energy, and just don't let them take up all your energy here, okay? Because it's like you're putting this energy into trying to change people who don't want to do it. So own your own power here. If this is really causing you a lot of stress, if it's really harming you, if there's a connection that's really harming you, you have the power to decide what to do there, okay? You can't control them. That you need to let that go, okay? But you have the power to decide what to do moving forward. You know your worth. Okay, you have the ability to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to step away from this. You have that power, okay? So don't remove that power from yourself here just because you're frustrated with someone else's actions, okay? You still have the power here. So what other messages do we have for this collective? What other messages do we have for you guys? Ace of Swords, you guys are creating a new mindset, and yeah, okay. You guys are creating a new mindset when it comes to connections with people, and you're taking back your own personal power over your connections because you're learning to accept, okay, this is where this person is. I'm gonna process this information, and then I'm gonna decide what to do with it, okay? And then we have the Knight of Wands, and I'm gonna pull more. I feel like you've had people that have just wasted your time, too. There's been some people in your life that have just wasted your time. They've wasted your time. They don't have the right intentions, okay? And maybe you've tried to change them. You've tried to make them see these issues, and they don't want to see them. So really, you are learning how to take back your power right now by acceptance. Acceptance is like the major theme for this pile here. You guys are entering a state of just like radical acceptance, or you're really learning that. And I want to pull some oracle cards, but it's just like, okay, I want to pull oracle cards. I feel like I'm supposed to do that for some reason. Let's do that. So we have innocence, there's celebration, and trust. Okay, you guys need to just trust yourself a little bit more. You need to trust your judgment. Innocence. I feel like you have really pure intentions with this. You have really pure intentions with people. You have really pure intentions, even if you have, even if it has entered a stage of maybe, maybe like trying to control who someone is or having a hard time accepting where someone's at. You have good intentions here. You do. And it's, instead of, there's been some situations in your life where you've needed to trust yourself and your judgment and just do what's best for you, but you've put a lot of effort into just communicating with another person who is not receptive to it. So you need to take back your power when it comes to this, and you need to, you've just been in a state of resistance because of this. Maybe there's been a person, or you've been processing some of this stuff, I don't know, but you need to let go of some of this energy because you're placing some of this upon yourself. You need to have a little more trust in yourself, and you need to, with celebration, I feel like you need to celebrate yourself. You need to celebrate life a bit more because you've been stressing yourself out over this. You've been stressing yourself out over people that you can't change. And your feelings are valid with these people. This is not to invalidate your feelings. They're very valid. But yeah, you're learning to trust yourself a little bit more. And I feel like this is hard for you guys. This is like, the way it's coming is just like, this has been a hard pill to swallow. And maybe it still is. Maybe it still is feeling that way, and that's okay. That's okay. But own your power here. Own your power. Step into your power here. And learn to celebrate yourself again. Learn to celebrate life again. Don't be in such a fight with other people who aren't ready to change, who aren't ready to look at themselves. They're not receptive to that, okay? Choose the path of least resistance for yourself right now. Choose the path of peace. Choose the path that brings joy to your life again. Yeah, it's like, yeah, choose the path that brings you peace. Choose the path of least resistance that brings back this innocent joy into your life. And I would just, I'm not even gonna pull from this deck, but I was holding for, and I was holding it, and on the back we have death. So I'm gonna end that there too. I feel like, you know, this is a transformation you're going through right now. This is a transformation. And we have the Tower here, so big changes. Like, you may have gone through a situation with a friend, a connection that would just, you know, just was shattering. It shattered your perspective of your relationships and connections, and you're learning you have to take a new approach to things moving forward, and also taking more accountability for yourself. Not saying that you were wrong with these connections, or that this person was right or wrong. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's just, it's about stepping into your power and knowing what you can change and what you can't. That's really the transformation that's going on with you guys. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for watching Pile 2. If this reading resonated with you, be sure to like and subscribe. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So you guys have selected the Abundance card. And the two other oracles on top, they say, baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. And called soul gifts and training, it's time to step up. So I feel like you guys, you found this feeling within yourself recently. This very intuitive feeling, this very intuitive connection. I feel like you're more aligned with your higher self or your higher will, really. You found this feeling. And it's kind of unexplainable. It's not like right here when it says follow your intuition before it makes sense. It's like you found this feeling within and you're allowing this to be your guide. And you're not trying to over-explain it. You're not trying to be too logical about it. You found this feeling, this guidance within, and you are trusting that feeling. It's really a feeling. Like, that's the best way I can put it. I feel like maybe before you may have been trying too much to plan and organize like every step of the way for what you were supposed to do. And if there's something like specific, a project you've been working on, career, anything like that, it's like you were trying to plan too much almost. Plan and structure and organize too much. And you released some of that control. You released some of that control and allowed yourself to follow a more intuitive level of guidance rather than a logical one. And that's not that the logical one was bad. It's just that you found a balance with it. And you let go of the need to control how everything is going to go. And you're now following this feeling within, this intuitive feeling within. And both of these oracle cards on top, we have 2 doors. We see a person who's about to walk through this door and this portal. So it's like you are being drawn and called towards where you need to go, and you're following that. You're following that pull. You're following that feeling within. And it's tough to even put into words, and I think you guys are probably having a hard time putting it into words too, because it's very intuitive. It's not logical. It's like it's that feeling. It's just like, I feel this is where I'm supposed to go. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. Like just feeling this unexplainable pull and draw towards something. Maybe you've faced a lot of criticism from people in the past. Yeah, some of you are like, there's something specific that like, okay, yeah, just take what resonates and leave what doesn't, of course. Not every message is going to be meant for you. And, if you're not in, if you're at a different place in the timeline, just take it how it resonates, of course. But some of you may have like been, you feel like you have a calling towards something. You felt like you had this calling towards something you feel like you're supposed to do, like beyond logic. And maybe you even like faced some criticism from other people for this. They didn't understand it. And that allowed you to be like, that made you question yourself. Question your judgment. But it's like wherever you're entering right now, or where you've entered, you're so much more aligned with your higher self and your higher will. It's like you have this feeling, this calling, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is where I'm supposed to be going. This is what I'm supposed to be focused on. You have this new strength to you. We have the Strength card. And with the King of Cups, it's like you're allowing your intuition, you're allowing that feeling within to be your guide. Some of you, I do want to say this part. Some of you, this might be more spiritual. Like you feel like you have a spiritual calling that you're meant to follow and you can't explain it. This might be certain like gifts. This might be a certain practice. Whatever that is. Like you feel like you have this calling. Like this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to follow this path. And it's like where you're entering right now, you're no longer allowing other people to make you question this. You're not questioning yourself anymore. Like this pile, either you're here or you're about to enter this. Like there's just a feeling of like being really assured within yourself. But it's not even on a logical level. It's on a more intuitive, spiritual level. It's so hard to put into words. It's a feeling. Like if this reading's meant for you, like you'll know what I'm talking about. Like it's just this feeling. Like it's just like I know what I'm supposed to be doing. and releasing some of this control and letting your intuition guide you, letting that feeling be your guidance, letting yourself follow this path down this calling wherever you're going. It's opening up so many new opportunities for abundance in your life. It's opening up opportunities for physical abundance, like material abundance. It's also opening up opportunities for more emotional and spiritual abundance. And some of you, it's like whatever you're doing spiritually, whatever the calling you're following spiritually, the spiritual work you're doing, it's removed some blockages that's allowing energy to flow more naturally, that's allowing more physical abundance to come into your life. It's like you started to really follow your intuition, your calling, and then you're like everything just feels aligned. Everything just starts to flow naturally, and abundance just flows naturally into your life. Yeah, it's like if some of you have been doing some spiritual work, following your spiritual calling, there may be some opportunities in your life that then come in after that, because things are just like more aligned. Really, you're more aligned with your higher self. You're more aligned with your path, is really the best way to put it. And so there may be more opportunities coming in for abundance. And some of you are really connecting into some spiritual gifts. Since I'm talking a lot about intuition, it might be like it might be you're connecting more to your intuition, intuitive gifts, or like clairsentience is the feeling. Could be more than that too. There's also a feeling of seeing, so maybe like clairvoyance too. Just, take it how it resonates. It doesn't have to be one or the other. But whatever, you're feeling called towards something right now. You are feeling pulled, and it's on multiple layers too, which is why I'm having a hard time putting it into words. It's like you just are so much more aligned with yourself spiritually, and then it's like trickling down into the more material side of things. You know what I mean? Like whatever you're doing to align yourself spiritually, whatever path you're following, whatever calling you're following, it's just allowed these blockages to be removed, and the energy is just trickling down into the material world, into your material life, and it's bringing in more abundance on all layers, all levels. So let's pull oracle cards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Oracle cards. Actually, you know what? I want to get this deck. I feel like I should pull this deck even though I didn't take it out. I just feel like it's right for this collective. And what I'm feeling. Like this just feels like the right one. I don't know. Alright. What messages do we have for this collective? What messages do we have for pile 3? I want another one. Not those ones. Okay. I was going for 2, but 3 came out, so we'll go with it. Quest. Okay. I want to focus on this before I talk about these other cards. Okay. You're on some kind of journey. Like, you are following some kind of calling right now. A lot of you are on some sort of, like, you're following a spiritual calling right now. What does this say? Goals, deep shifts, carving out change, inner journey. You are on a journey. Like, the way I'm seeing this, like, you're walking, moving forward, and following this calling, following this drawing. You see that in all 3 of these images, this person just walking forward on this journey, following this pull, right? Okay, what else do we have? You are a gift, visionary, and step into your light. Look, we have this again. We have this walking into a door. There's definitely there's definitely some opportunities coming in for you guys. Maybe spiritual opportunities, maybe some gifts are opening up for you, but also like I feel like I said, it's like trickling down. It's trickling down into the more practical material world, kind of. That's the best way I can put it. Sorry if I'm not like explaining things the best way. This reading is it's very, the feeling that's going on here, it's not extremely logical. It's just very intuitive. Like you're just following an intuitive feeling. So it's somewhat hard to put into words, you know? And then we have harmonics, vibrational medicine, shared resonance, and natural tones. You might benefit from, oh, how do I put this? You might benefit from certain like sound heal. I'm not super familiar with those practices, to be honest. You might benefit from those. You might benefit from like certain kind of sound like healing. There's a plane going by too, as I said that. I think you're discovering certain spiritual gifts. I think it's more like you've really found a connection to your higher self. You've really balanced things out. And you're following such this deep intuitive feeling within. You're on a new quest. Some of you, okay, only take this if it resonates, of course. Some of you, like, you feel, because I keep thinking of this, some of you have a spiritual calling that you feel like you're really supposed to do. I'm going to be kind of general with this. Maybe you have certain gifts, like clairvoyance, clairsentience, I mentioned those. Maybe you like divination, maybe you're a witch, anything, you know, whatever. I mentioned like certain sound healing, vibrational medicine. Maybe that's something strong for you guys. Maybe you're a musician, music. Some of you have a connection to music, and that's connected to what you're doing spiritually. I'm not sure what that is, though, what I'm picking up. Anyways, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have a spiritual calling that you feel like you're supposed to follow. And you've faced a lot of criticism from other people, or you've just really allowed, or even just like the potential thought of like, oh, what if these people don't like this? What if they judge me? You've let that bother you in the past, but where you're stepping into now, you've found this new strength within yourself, and it just feels like nothing's gonna break that. Nothing can shake that with what you've found, because it's just this deep feeling within of just being so sure of your path, so sure of what you're supposed to do, and not on a logical level. It's not like this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and this is exactly how it's going to turn out. No, it's just the feeling. It's just the feeling, like this is what I do, this is what I follow, and it'll turn out how it's meant to be. And I let go of control, and I just allow it to flow how it's meant to happen. Okay, right back, I got a little topic. Back to what I was talking about. Some of you have faced some criticism for the spiritual. Some of you have faced criticism for your spirituality, or you've just really feared it. But you feel like you have this spiritual calling, and you're no longer allowing people to prevent you from following that. You have a lot to share. You have a gift to share. So step into that. You're walking into something right now. You know what you're doing. Like, I feel like you guys know what you're doing. You really do. But let's pull some tarot cards too. Pull some more tarot cards for what exactly is going on, because I feel like this is just very general, but I think, you know, if this reading is meant for you, it'll resonate how it's supposed to. Ten of Wands. You carry a lot of energy. You carry a lot of energy within you. You carry a lot of gifts, but you've just let them sit there for a while, honestly. You've let them sit there. You've like held on to them and felt like you weren't ready to share them, or like that people wouldn't be accepting of it. And now you're ready to. You're ready to walk into that. Yeah, Emperor. Two of Cups, okay. Yeah, you're really stepping into some spiritual gifts right now, but like I'm also seeing this on multiple levels. It's like I was talking about, there's a trickle-down effect going on. You're aligning yourself within to this intuitive feeling, and then there's a trickle-down effect into the more practical material parts of your life. So it's like, if you start to follow this spiritual calling, then there also might be more opportunities for like work, for your job that appear, something like that, you know? I'll stay pretty general with that. But there's just a trickle-down effect going on, right? That's the best way to put it. And you feel much more self-assured than you did in the past. Like, there's just this feeling of just, I know what I'm doing. I don't, okay, here's how it's like coming through. It's like, whatever this feeling you're feeling right now, this calling, this direction, whatever this is, it's like, I know exactly what I'm doing without knowing what I'm doing. I know that doesn't really make sense, but like, that's kind of what intuition is. It's like, I know what I'm supposed to do without exactly knowing. Like, you know, like, you just take that how it resonates. You have a lot of abilities to really heal people as well. I think you might be a healer. And there is something about music for you guys. Like, some of you might be able to heal with music. I'm not sure what that is, or sound. I'm not sure what that is. So, you know, only take that if it resonates. It's probably not going to be for all of you. But I feel like you guys are a healer. You're very much able to heal people. And you're at this place where you're starting to really channel these gifts down. Okay, what else? What else do we have for this pile? Abundance. Okay, yeah. Yeah, abundance. Okay. Like, what else? What else, though? We know that. We know abundance is coming in. We know that. What else? There's just a confirmation. Maybe this reading really is just a confirmation for you guys to, like, you know, yeah, you know what you're doing. Even without knowing completely what you're doing, you know what you're doing, right? That's the best way I can say it. Sorry if this is a little chaotic. It's just like conditioning. We have the lion appearing again because we have strength. And I want to pull one more. Going with the flow. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's what you're doing. Whatever you went through before, whatever you were going through before you allowed yourself to let go and trust this intuitive feeling and align with your higher self, it was really conditioning you so you can step into your power and you can really use these gifts. You can align yourself spiritually. And I feel like for a lot of you offer a lot of help to other people, even if you're not like, even if you don't have like a spiritual business or something official. It's just you offer a lot to people. You offer a lot of guidance. You have a lot of spiritual gifts to share, a lot of knowledge to share. And some of it's coming through your own experiences too. Like you've been through some stuff. You've been through some stuff that's really also allowed you to really harness these abilities to help other people. But you're going with the flow. You're going with the flow right now. And again, like, I feel like this is supposed to be a more general reading. So I'm just going with it that way. Sorry if you were looking for something more specific, but really it's just like, there's the best way to explain the feeling of this collective is just like, you've either found or you're really about to find this connection to your higher self, your higher will. It's just going to be this unexplainable feeling, this unexplainable pull and drive. And it's on a spiritual level, but then this is going to trickle down into more practical material things as well. So it's also going to change. There's spiritual opportunities and there might be material opportunities as well coming in now that you've started to go with the flow. And you're entering a state of mind where you're allowing abundance to come in and you're not limiting that anymore. You're not limiting your potential. Okay, I'm gonna end this here. You know, that was a more general message. That's probably more of a confirmation than anything for people. But yeah, I just feel like that was how it was meant to come out. But if this reading resonated with you, be sure to like and subscribe. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading. So you guys have selected the Upheaval card. And the two other oracles on top, they say karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. And the other one says, child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. So I'm feeling for this collective, you may have gone through some really like karmic relationships. We have that here, right? You may have gone through some karmic relationships that were meant to teach you some lessons. They were meant to teach you about yourself. They were meant to realign you with what your soul really needs. And it's like you went through some upheaval here. This caused some upheaval in your life, these connections, and these can be any kind of connections, romantic, friends, family, you know, just interpret it however it fits for you. So there were some connections, some relationships that were meant to really realign you with yourself, with your higher self, with what your soul needs on a spiritual level. And it caused some upheaval in your life. But I feel like you've really come out on the other end of this much stronger. Like, you did not let this get you down. You've really used this you've really integrated the lessons of those experiences with the Six of Wands here. It's like you've found power within it. Or, you know, wherever you are at in this timeline, just take it however it resonates. Some of you might be coming into that. But it's like, whatever these connections were, it made you really reevaluate what you want in life. But it's more than that. It's like, it made you reevaluate what you need, like on a deeper spiritual level, on a soul level. Made you really reevaluate what you need in life, what you want, what really serves you on a deeper level. It sort of revealed to you that there were some things you thought you wanted, that you thought were right. They weren't fully aligned with your higher self. And you needed to go through that to sort of realign yourself here. You may have been holding on to things in the past that were not truly aligned with your highest self, or they were meant to be expanded upon. And these connections, this upheaval you went through from these karmic connections, it's realigned you with yourself. You're more harmonized. And you started to really evaluate what you really need, what you really want on a deeper level. It made you confront that. And maybe for a while there was a lot of conflict within self. But I feel like you've really come out on the other end of that now. And you've made the most of it, and you've really worked to integrate these lessons and to really try to figure out, okay, this is not what I want, or this is not really aligned with myself, or this is really aligned with myself and I want to go this direction. So whatever happened, you've really integrated these lessons now. And you're now moving forward with a new perspective. You're moving forward with a deeper understanding of what really serves you on a spiritual soul level. And you're really moving forward with this. You're moving forward with these lessons you've integrated. And you're moving forward feeling more aligned with yourself, more connected to the universe, rather than in conflict with it. Because before you were holding on to some things that were not fully serving you, or may have in the past, but they were meant to be expanded upon. And these relationships, this upheaval you went through, it really taught you that. It realigned you. It like corrected your course. And then you're finding harmony again right now. You found harmony again. And now you're moving forward. You're moving forward feeling more sure of not what you want, but what you need, what your soul needs, you know? So let's pull some more oracle cards here. Which ones? These ones. These ones. messages do we have for this collective? What other messages do we have for this collective? Oh, I want to say this too. Some of you may feel drawn to another pile here. If you feel drawn to another pile, maybe there's some messages in there for you as well. I didn't say that to any of the other piles. For some reason, I felt the need to say that to you guys. So I'm gonna say it, you know. Might not be for all of you, maybe for some of you, just, you know, follow what's right for you. But anyways, what other messages do we have for this collective? What other messages? Familiar steps, reoccurring dreams, continuum, reclaimed truths. Okay. And then one more. Okay. This message might not be for everybody. This is not going to connect with everybody. So if this is not for you, doesn't mean the message of this reading isn't for you. Just, you know, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Some of you may have had a dream recently where you were visited by maybe an ancestor, a past loved one, maybe a spirit guide, maybe a god you work with, you know, whatever that is for you. There may have been some encounter in a dream recently that was teaching you something, that was trying to communicate something. Or it doesn't even have to be in a dream. It just may have been like a channeled message from some sort of guide, maybe an ancestor. For a lot of you, yeah, there's been an ancestor trying to share some messages with some of you, for sure. So pay attention to that. But again, if that's not for you, leave that behind. Reclaim truths and revelations. I'm being drawn to those two cards right now. I feel like the truth you reclaimed was a deeper connection to what your soul really needs. Especially regarding your connections with other people. It's like what you thought you wanted was not fully aligned. Or it's not that it was entirely wrong even, it was just maybe meant to be expanded upon. So it's like you've reclaimed your truth, your inner truth. This is another specific message, so please, this is not going to be for everybody. For some of you, this karmic relationship, it's a family member. And some of this conflict and some of what you were processing, it was with a family member. And there's an ancestor trying to step in and guide you right now and help you through this. They're trying to help you through this, and they're trying to help you heal some, like, generational trauma or cycles here. They're stepping in to help you with that. If that's not for you, just leave it behind though, okay? But yeah, okay. I want to pull tarot cards. I want to pull some tarot cards so I can see a little bit more here. Which deck? This deck. Okay. How do I say this? So, man, how do I put that into words? Okay, how do I put that into words? Okay, so it's like maybe before you just, things were not feeling purely fulfilling with what you thought you wanted out of your connections, you know, or you thought it was supposed to be. And it's like now that you've gone through this upheaval, you've gone through these karmic lessons, really, it feels like you've returned to where you're supposed to be. It's like there may even be feeling like, I don't know if deja vu is the right feeling, but it's like, that's not the right word, but it's like It just feels like you're returning to something. You're returning to something. I don't know how to explain it besides that. It just feels like with familiar steps, it's like you returned to you returned to what your soul needed. So it feels more familiar. You feel more at home. And before it was just like you weren't entirely connected to what your soul really needed, to what was truly going to bring you fulfillment within your connections. I don't know how to like put this into words, what I'm feeling. I really don't. Maybe it'll come to me when I do other stuff. So I'm gonna leave that there because I feel like I don't want to get confusing. But let's pull some tarot cards. Queen of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, lots of pentacles. Oh, that's fuzz. Don't mind that. This is, okay, I don't even know if I should say this. This is really random, but like Florida. For some reason, I'm thinking of Florida. Again, that's not for everybody, so I'll leave it behind. If it's not meant for you, okay, we got 2 aces here. Some new beginnings happening. Some new beginnings. Some new opportunities coming in. Okay, I feel like you guys, you've realigned with what you want tangibly in your life. You've realigned with what's not like, not just what you thought you want, not what other people thought you want. Okay, okay. I need to say this because it's coming through now. Some of you were facing a lot of pressure from what your family wanted your life to look like, or even what your family wanted your relationships to look like. You mean that's a feeling here. But now it's like you've but now it's like you're more sure of yourself, your soul, what you really need. And you're not allowing that to affect you as much anymore. Sorry, I just need a second to like sit with the energy. Give me a second. I really do keep thinking of like family stuff. I keep thinking of maybe like generational patterns and cycles here. Maybe you've okay, some of you have really been breaking some family patterns, some generational cycles, some karmic cycles there. Because you're realigning with what your soul really needs, not just what, you know, society tells you, not just what your family tells you. I want to pull another card for some reason. Five of Cups. You've faced a lot of pressure from other people for what your life should look like, for what you should be doing. And you've applied a lot of that pressure to yourself too. And you've gone through some upheaval recently with certain connections. That's really forced you to look at and reevaluate what is truly serving me on a soul level. What's truly serving you? You've really been called to reevaluate that and reconnect with that. And it just keeps coming up. There's a strong feeling of like doing what you need for yourself rather than what your family tells you. And not that you can't, you know, not that you can't accept guidance from your family, but there's just a need to break some generational cycles here and like be your own person. Be your own person. Start something new. We have 2 aces here. It's like you're starting something new. pull more oracle cards. Transformation, yep. Totality. You're reconnecting with like the origins of your soul. I don't know how to put it besides that. You're reconnecting with your true origins, beyond the distortions and the pressures of the physical world and our experience in society. You're reconnecting to that, and you're starting to realize what you really need, not just what you want, not just what your family wants, not just what society wants. You're realizing what you need. And whatever these connections were, whatever this upheaval was with these connections, this has helped you return to that. And I do feel like you're fighting some pressure, some outside pressure right now from people. And for a lot of you, it's your family. So you're really being taught to create your own path and create your own life that's aligned with your soul, not just from what other people think you're supposed to be doing, not just from what you think you're supposed to be doing on a more ego level. Find the totality of it. See the big picture. This reading was a little chaotic. I have a feeling like not every message is going to resonate with you. If you listen to this reading, it was just like, you know, take what resonates, leave what doesn't kind of thing. But I think it's kind of getting cut off now for me. That was a little chaotic, but I think I'm still gonna post it. I feel like if it's meant for you, you'll find the reading, you know, and you'll be able to interpret it how it really serves you. Be your own creator is really the final message I have for you. Be your own creator. Create the life that is aligned with you on a soul level. Not what other people think you need, not what your ego thinks you need. See the totality, see the big picture. But I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for watching. If this reading resonated with you, be sure to like and subscribe.